Well, hello everybody. It is I, Crazy Alaskan Cotshot, and I have not recorded a video in a very long time. Wow. I don't know, but saying that, like looking at this camera, just doing that right now just gave me a huge hit of nostalgia. Like I haven't I haven't vlogged in I guess over a year, right? Like since like last yes, and I still have the same issues that I always did when I was a streamer slash YouTuber. Um, let's turn that on Do Not Disturb. Anyways, that's my phone going off. You probably couldn't hear it. And I have the same nervous tics. So that's great. At least the old me isn't completely dead yet. Yeah, so I haven't done a vlog since I suppose that was last April when I was talking about my experience as a teacher and future grad student. I have not done a proper vlog since starting grad school. I believe the last vlog type video I did was, first of all, when my computer was over there in that part of the room, and also I believe it was before I had started. So yeah, a lot has changed. I am hoping to eventually do some car vlogs like I used to. However, they won't be as long as the old half-hour vlogs. I say this like I used to do like full-length vlogs for an extended period of time. I probably did like 5 in total throughout my entire stint on YouTube, right? But yeah, the car trip to Baylor is only about 15 minutes long, so it's not very long. I mean, I guess I could do each way, but you know, when you're working from 9 a.m. to sometimes 1 a.m., not often, sometimes, when you're working, 12, 16-hour shifts, I don't really think I'm going to want to talk after that. Anyway, so yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, I started my my graduate school experience at Baylor University. I am a PhD student in biology at the moment. And I have just started my second year, actually. And it's been an experience, that's for sure. First year was very... I'm going to say it. It was very mindful. It was very demure. Slightly cutesy. And it was a good time. It was an incredible time to be alive. Honestly, I really enjoyed my first year in grad school. The first semester at Baylor, basically you do your 3 rotations for the particular program that I'm in, which is the CMHC track of the biology PhD program, right? So you rotate for 5 weeks in 3 different labs, and at the end of those labs you match with the advisor and lab of your choice, right? Most of the time. And I ended up joining a medical entomology lab. We study arthropod neurobiology. I have a couple projects we're working on right now, but we will get into that later. And yeah, that was my first semester. Just a lot of prerequisite classes, sort of. There was a statistics course, pardon me. That was a lot of fun. And there was also some just introductory courses, like how to how to ethically conduct research and how to give presentations and this kind of stuff, just in case you didn't cover that in your undergrad or graduate degree. Why is my chair so low? Hang on. Man, even after 10 years, I'm still such a terrible YouTuber. I don't prepare things. There we go. Let's see. Let's lift the chair just a little bit. There we go. Okay. I don't like this mirror in the background because it means I actually have to wear clothes. Not that I wouldn't, but focus? Yeah. I need a better webcam, one that doesn't. There's no way this is 60 frames right now. Lies. Anyway, so after that first semester of sort of prerequisite classes, I suppose, you match in your lab. And then, yeah, I already told you the lab I joined. And the first semester was pretty decent. Just basically trying to learn all the different machines and instruments that we use, right? All the different techniques, learning all the different laboratory protocols, etc. And then I'll still try to remain PG-13 on this channel. Stuff got real starting summer. I'm not sure how much I can talk about, but I was covered under a specific NIH grant, and basically you're expected to work until you drop, essentially, right? So summer was pretty brutal. Well, the beginning of summer wasn't too bad, but middle and end of it, a lot of stuff wasn't working. A lot of instruments were incapacitated for many reasons, and we're still kind of troubleshooting some of those to this day, starting in the fall of my second year now. And then fall semester, I'm trying to think about how much detail I want to go into. So fall semester has been fairly brutal, I guess you could say. Just long work hours, some grant writing that I'm doing, so applying for local funding to as a bridge gap sort of towards applications for something like an R21 or maybe an F31 towards my particular project. But classes have been kind of chill, thankfully. So first year is very course heavy. Second year is still you still have to take courses, but it's not as bad anymore. And starting the spring semester, I will be taking my qualifying exams / preliminary exams, however you want to call it. I do have my committee assembled now, so that's great. Have some solid people there. And yeah, so after prelims in the spring, I suppose the official title is PhD pre-candidate, I suppose, because fall of 2025, I will defend my proposal. And after that, after you pass that, then you're considered a PhD candidate. And I had my second year check-in with one of the program advisors, I suppose you could say. And basically, the earliest I could graduate, if everything goes right, which it's science, so it won't, right? But the earliest I could graduate would be fall of 2026, which would put me at a 3-year graduation date, which is highly unrealistic, right? But it's still a very attractive goal to pursue anyway. So, if everything goes right, if I get my 3 papers, which is required by my advisor, Baylor requires 1, but my advisor requires 3, which is good. If I get all 3 of those papers out, and if I'm able to write my dissertation, I could be out of here in about 2 more years' time, which is a great prospect to think about. Probably not going to happen, but I'm going to aim for it anyway. The worst that could happen is I get stuck for another year, and then, wow, 4-year PhD, that's not bad. I will take it. And kind of the tentative plan moving forward is perhaps not a career in medicine, but perhaps pursuing something like medical school, especially with a specialty, I suppose, in infectious disease. Here's the thing: I really love surgery, right? And some parts of me wish that I had gone to medical school instead, or at the very least done a combined MD PhD program. But the other part of me thinks that I was right in making the decision and right in acknowledging that I was not mature enough for medical school. Because PhD is brutal, don't get me wrong, and unless you really love what you're doing, you're going to hate every moment of your life. But I think it is probably still a little bit easier. At least the process of getting into graduate school is way easier. Medical school, you have to have shadowing hours, you have to scribe, you have to have clinical experience, you have to prepare and take your MCAT exam while you're also doing all your classes and doing well in those. So the path is to perhaps pursue an MD and eventually having an MD PhD, but not a combined track, which would have been great, but that's okay. So give or take 4 or 5 more years, right? So say I graduate in 4 years for my PhD instead of 3, I would be 25. I'd be 25-ish. 4 or 5 years in med school, I'd be around 30. And then I'm not sure how long a residency for non-surgery would be, especially something that I'm thinking of pursuing. Probably not long, maybe 3, 4, 5 years. And then after that, maybe I can get a sweet postdoc position with US AMRID or something, or National Laboratory. That'd be great. Anyway, so that's kind of like the end goal, I suppose, or just working in the industry, right? Because 30 years old, I got to start making money eventually, especially to pay for all that med school debt, which I will probably. Man, I wish I could do the HPS or something through the military, but I don't think they're going to take me with my asthma and flat feet. So, it's always a possibility, but, and I'm not sure if I can handle it in my old age. I'm already starting to break down quite a bit. But hey, we'd love to see progress. So yeah, I guess that is how I've been progressing in my career / academic life. And as for, I guess, personal life, I don't think there's been too much that has happened lately. Kind of the same trend since high school, right? You know, just just sort of going through the motions of pseudo dating and all this and that nonsense. And you try dating internally, like within your field, right, within the biology department, and they're good people for the most part, and things don't work out, but thankfully we're all professional enough to where it isn't awkward. At least it isn't to me, so that's good. But yeah, there's been a couple of flings here and there, and couple local Wacoans, I suppose, also, but that's a different story. And oh boy, there's a lot of stories to tell, but I will not, for the purposes of this video and this channel's safety. But yeah, pretty good time overall. Met some good friends here, who are mostly graduate students. Some people I've met who are actual Waco residents also, and I'm one of the directors of the, well, not directors, well, sort of. I'm the chairperson for the recruitment for one of the social clubs at Baylor for graduate students in the biology program specifically. And, you get to meet a lot of great people there, a lot of good friends, and you get to hang out with the first years, which is really nice because first year students are very energetic, they're very happy, they have a lot of, they should have a lot of free time. I try to give them advice, and it's really interesting because when I was a first year, a lot of my seniors really tried to get me to live a little, I suppose, before second year started. And, I try to repay that favor now whenever I am chatting with the first years. I'm like, you guys really should chill, and just like relax a little bit before it gets really real your first summer. But, I think I'm getting through to them. And, it's a lot of fun because, I don't know, it's nice to be around people who are still so, innocent is the wrong word, but it is, but just very, pure, I guess you could say, they haven't been tainted by academia and just, it's not even just academia, it's just life, right? Like, science is a very difficult field for people who aren't of a resolute mind, right? Because your task as a scientist, whether it's academia or industry or national lab, doesn't matter. Your goal is to come up with new solutions. Your goal is to come up with troubleshooting techniques or to cure cancer, literally. So you will have setbacks because not everything is going to work. Not all of your experiments are ever going to succeed. In fact, most of them won't. And it's a real challenge for some people, and I think that is the reason why quite a few people master out, and I don't blame them, but if you could stick that course and just think about it in the context of it's only 4 years, it's only 5 years, right? I think in the long term you'll come out a stronger person, and yeah, so that's kind of like what I'm going through right now. It is a lot of work, but I think in the end I will be satisfied eventually. So, and it's really interesting listening to myself talking because I don't think I've ever talked this slow in a video in my life. And it's interesting, people, we all grow up, right? I couldn't believe that please tell me I'm recording. Yeah, I am. Okay. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that this channel is over 10 years old now. In fact, I think it's 11 years old because I believe the 10th birthday was last August. So this channel was 11 years old, guys. I would have been 11 or maybe 12 at the oldest when I made this YouTube channel with my friend for the purpose of uploading stop motion videos. And that's such a pure thing. Like, oh, let's make, let's make some Lego stop motions together and let's upload them together. We'll do all the voiceovers, editing, all that stuff. I would give anything to be a kid again and to just experience all that life had to offer for the first time again, right? And like, sure, I'm young. I'm 22-ish. I'm youngish. But there's some things, you won't be able to experience for the first time ever again. And it's sad a little bit. Especially if those were like joyous things, right? If there are bad things, then I guess it's good you never get to experience that for the first time again because it sucks. But for good things, I guess it can kind of be sad, but also maybe kind of just open up your horizons. Like, wow, that was a great experience, and I wonder how many other things I haven't done yet. So I guess there is some of that also. But this is kind of morbid, but I was thinking about a meme that I saw earlier today where, at a certain point of life, you stop having your firsts and you start having your lasts, and I'm far from that, obviously, but, it just makes you think sometimes about life. And so I guess what the message is to my younger audience, like, appreciate your first, your first chocolate milk. I don't know how old you are. Your first dub in Fortnite, if Fortnite is even still relevant anymore, your first A on an exam, your first, I don't know, just you name it, like, just really enjoy what life has to offer, because you get to a point where you become an adult, and if you're jaded enough, nothing really matters anymore, and that's a sad place to be, so so just, I don't know, just try to appreciate what life has to offer, and it might not always be good, but you will get through it. Like, there's 8 or 9 or 10, I don't know at this point how many billion people in the world, and most of them are able to get through their day, and you can too. So I know I had some students, one, I used to be a middle school teacher, who struggled, emotionally sometimes, and just home life and stuff, and I don't know, I wish I could tell you it'll be better, and it most likely will, but you just have to live through it, and eventually you will be an adult, you'll be able to move out, you'll be able to do all your own things, and honestly, it's an exhilarating feeling. Like, I had a great home life growing up. Like, I love my parents, and it kind of sucks that they're 2 hours away, but it's fine. But that feeling of moving out, again, here's a first, right? Like, moving out on your own for the first time, and like, you get to do whatever you want. Like, man, I guess maybe it was such a strange thing for me to experience, especially because I was 21, the first time I moved out. Because in college, I always lived with my parents. We only lived half an hour away from campus, as I'm sure you know. And they let me stay with them for the full 3.5, 4 years, however long I was in college. I don't remember anymore. I don't remember what I had for breakfast or what I'm wearing. But the first time after my parents, left me in my house here, and I don't know, it was surreal. Like, it sucked for a little bit in that, like, wow, there's no one else in the house, I'm lonely, But after a while, it's kind of refreshing in a way. You get to clean your house the way you like it. You get to organize it. You get to decor it, which is probably my favorite aspect of being an adult, honestly, just like decorating things and making things your own. Like, for example, I am currently in the process of renovating my kitchen, sort of. The cabinets are currently brown, sort of like the crowning you see in the... Nope. There. That color right there, that brown. The kitchen cabinets are that color. Oh, the door. There you go. Nope. There. Door. And the cabinet handles are silver, and I'm not a fan of that. First of all, they're painted, so I'm not a fan of that anyway. But I am currently repainting them sage green, and I got some nice burnished, or I guess, no, it's called rubbed bronze, I think, handles, and some nice copper hinges. So, I don't know, it's just kind of nice to embark on those own little projects of your own, and just, I don't know, make your house your home, and I do have some pets now. I have two little rats that I keep company, or I guess they keep me company. Worcester, he's a black and white, and Pepper is a gray Norwegian rat. But they're great. They're great. They keep me company. And my dog, Gigi Karageorgievich, you've seen her on videos before. I think mainly the Try Not to Laugh videos. But she's still with my parents. Well, she is with my parents now in Houston. Unfortunately, I did not have time to take care of a dog in graduate school because, you have to go home several times a day, walk the dog, feed it, water it, take care of it. And, that just wasn't feasible, unfortunately. Okay, wow. My coffee had... I don't know where the coffee grounds came from. That was unpleasant. Wow, I think that woke me up. Okay. What's up, everybody? It's Crazy Alaskan Codshot here. Wow. That was visceral. That was horrible. Whew. Alright, anyway. Rats. Right, pets. Yeah, so it's been a good time, honestly, overall. Well, yeah. we'll go with that. But I do now have 2 books on Amazon. Well, one is complete and the other is in progress, right? So I'm still kind of like writing it, and I'm publishing it under Amazon Kindle's Vela services, which is kind of nice because it's instant publishing, right? And the first book, Postmortem, this is also a throwback because years ago, many, many years ago, I promised that I was going to talk about my books, and I think even do a review of them or something. So I guess, honestly, we could check them out. Why not? Let's see here. So, Amazon Kindle Vela. The first book is named Postmortem. Okay, that is not what I wanted to find on my... Okay, Postmortem art. That's definitely not it. Let's see here. Hello? Can you, where is my camera? Wow, I'm such a professional YouTuber. I can't believe after all this time... Well, the face is not going to come out for some reason. That's really a bugger. Anyway, that's fine. So we're going to look up on Kindle Vela. And we're going to find Postmortem by Michael Kambars. There she is. Not Killer Beauty Season 1. Alright, yeah, so, I don't know, give it a check out, right? It's, the theme is very, like, dystopian slash, I suppose, well, see, this is funny for me to say because I understand what's going to happen at the end of book 3, which hasn't been written yet, but you don't. So, sure, we'll say there's romance in this book, why not? But definitely, like, YA themed, right? And the first book, honestly, the first book is alright. I'm not the... This is really funny to say about your own book, but, like, I'm not the biggest fan of it, honestly. It kind of sucks. I think partially because the first time I wrote this book was in 2000... No, there's no way I was that young. Yeah, actually, it could have been, because I think I was 14 or 15 at the time I wrote the first draft. Let me be very clear about that. The first draft of Postmortem. And when I was around 19... or 20, I completely rewrote this book. Like, even the main plot is not very similar to how the original book was at all. Like, even the name is different. Like, I believe the first title of this book was just Post-Apocalyptic America, and that sucks, honestly. Like, that's like the worst title I've ever heard in my life. And then it was something else afterwards. Afterwards was the second working title of this book. And then I eventually settled on Postmortem. Actually, somehow, I don't know why, but I mean, I know why. Never mind. I'm an idiot. What am I talking about? I know exactly why I named it Postmortem. You don't yet until you've read it. All 3 books, rather. And no, it has nothing to do with necropsies or anything like that. Don't worry. But yeah, I think it's... Unfortunately, it's a necessary evil if you want to understand what's happening in the second book. I mean, sure, you could just go completely blind into the second book and just be like, oh, I don't know where I was going with that. But the first book is all right. The main character is named Branson McCullens. He lives in a post-apocalyptic slum in Eastern Virginia called New Nova, and basically a lot of things happen, and he ends up joining the resistance. Finds the love of his life, right? A woman named Lucinda Meadows, who is one of the, I guess, she's not the head of the Resistance's intelligence service, but she's definitely one of the, like, higher ups, I suppose you could say. And God, I am so bad at describing my own book. I would not read it if somebody described my book this way. Yeah, you just kind of got to read it. You know, I really thought I was gonna have something better than that, but I don't. I'm sorry. Check it out. And then the second book is called Redacted. Now, Redacted. Whew, that is okay. Nope, that is not it. That is not my name. My name is Kembar. Is not Chambers? Beg your pardon? There it is. Okay. Redacted is. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I think it's a masterpiece. I think it's. I love all the themes I've tied in this book, and I think maybe the reason why I don't like my first book, part of it, there's many reasons why I don't like it, but I think part of the reason I don't like Postmortem is because you're introduced to a lot of weird things and a lot of weird relationships and just strange situations that don't make sense in the context of the first book. But once you read the second book and you start revealing things slowly? No. Once you start revealing things bit by bit, piecemeal, one at a time. There. Thank you. I know how to use English. The book starts coming together. The book series starts coming together, and it starts making sense. And I'm glad I was able to see that through my friends' reviews of the book, because they also they were nice, right? They were giving me very positive feedback about. I realized I was not showing my screen. That's very unfortunate. Here's Redacted. They were being nice, but the first book, it sucks. I'll be the first to admit that. But they were reading the second book, and they're like, "Oh, this is actually like genuinely good. Like this was significantly better than the first." I'm like, "Thank you. I'm glad you also think that, because I really love the second book as well." And it's not done, right? Because you publish on a chapter by chapter basis. I'm probably gonna write some as soon as I'm done talking to you guys, actually. But spoilers! Gosh, don't look at the introduction. Goodness gracious, that's crazy, man. But I know how the second book ends, and I cannot wait for my friends to see that revelation, because it's going to be great. Anyway, long story short, those are my books. Feel free to check them out if you want. And I probably am going to be publishing a couple chapters in the next week or two, because I do have some free time. I say some free time. And the rats are drinking now, and they're very noisy when they do so. So I'm probably going to cut this vlog off here for now, but I'm hoping to publish some more videos sooner in the future. So without further ado, stay frosty, everybody.